Here we go again. Obviously, this is 5 of 6 2-day, this is the fourth of 6 2-day turns, so here we go. We've got some positives to build on after Nebraska. I thought defensively we were really solid in that game. I thought we did till late, we did a really good job of taking our three-point shooters out of rhythm and made things tough. I thought we got great looks early. We didn't make some of those, but I thought we did a very good job of attacking Nebraska's defense, which has been very effective in terms of guarding the paint. So, but all in all, you know, a good run in the game, pulled away. Feel good about that, and we keep growing, keep getting better, and now we get the league's best team. We're one of them, right there at the top, a veteran team with a lot of pieces back, and then they're coached by Tom Izzo, so you know what you're getting there, and that side of it, they're a little different, that they're starting smaller than maybe some of Tom's teams have in the past, but they can also play very big with Hauser, Malik, and Sissoko. So Hoggard is one of the most improved players in our league. Guy that actually closed the game out against Wisconsin with some big baskets. They're still Michigan State. They're still elite in transition, and find opportunities to get 5 or 6 baskets or more every game. So you know that's always a focal point when you play them. So should be a good game, and we're gonna have to play exceptionally well to win.
Right, it seemed like against Nebraska there was a really high commitment defensively for your team and offensively on ball movement. Were those focal points coming into it for you?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you win in this league with defense. You don't win with, you know, offense might win you a game when you make some shots. That wasn't the night. I mean, Nebraska is, you know, I think held Purdue into the 50s in an overtime game, or real close. You know, they've been exceptional defensively throughout league play. We missed a lot of layups, and we missed a lot of wide open shots. The ball movement was very good. I thought that, you know, our ability to skip it, which they force you to do, and then our ability to drive closeouts, not just to score but to make the next pass was the best we've had all year. It's very good. But you're going to win this league with your defense, and you know, I feel great about where we're gaining ground on that. Like we've moved up 20 spots in KenPom in the last 10, 12 days. To get where we want to be, we've got to be a top 15 defense, and we're getting better there.
Coach, what have you seen from your transition defense and getting matched up? As you know, Tom Izzo seems like they like to push it, make you defend the whole shot clock.
Yeah, good shot selections help that. You know, I thought other than, you know, I think Nebraska had 2 baskets in transition. You know, that'll severely be tested against Michigan State. You know, the Walker kid is elite at getting out and run. You know what they're going to do with their bigs. Their bigs are going to rim run. That forces, at times, can force a cross match. We like to do the same thing. Yeah, you've got to be very conscious after every made basket. AJ Hoggard, the point guard, is a elite pitch ahead guy. So you got to be able to contain him. And Hauser is a trailer, is a very good shooter. So all those things come into play, and they do it exceptionally well.
This is for RJ. After the last couple weeks, what did it mean to him to have the game that he kind of had to see a couple shots go through against Nebraska?
Yeah, just he's a really good shooter. That's gotta fought it. You know, he's fought it, and you know, we put him in 3 or 4 actions to get shots, and I told him the only way he's guarding his tail off. He's been in lead on that end in the last 3 games. You know, I told him the only way I'm not staying with you is if you quit shooting. And started to see the ball go in. He's working awfully hard at it. And he's got the ability to elevate us to another level with his shooting.
Where's his shoulder at, and how much is he still dealing with on that front?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Brad, you mentioned right at the top, the 2-day turnaround. So you deal with this every year, obviously. It's the grind of Big Ten. But just with this particular group, how have you, helped them through the grind of Big Ten play early on? Is there anything you've had to do differently from previous groups or anything like that?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's more about, understanding the recovery process, when Fletch is great at that, and Paul, and, might be harder on coaches, than it is on players. You get home at 1:30 and, you're wired for sound and you don't go to sleep, and, it was 4:30 in my case. You start breaking down the next one because you got practice the next day. So it's, it's monitoring minutes and time, and not trying to kill them that day in practice, that next day, and get them right, but yet, doing enough for the prep that you gotta shift gears pretty quick. So, we've spent a lot of time on that. It's probably a routine the players like a lot, to be very honest with you.
Coach, what's the importance of holding serve at home, and is it still as significant in the Big Ten as it has been? There seems like there's some teams getting road wins out there.
I take every game for what it is. You sure like to win at home and go steal some on the road, but I don't care where we play, we want to win. At the end of the year they total them all up. I don't even look at the standings. I never have till the last day. And it's just go play and try to get better and deal with the next game the best you can, so you give your kids the best opportunity. Obviously we enjoy playing at home in front of our fans. Yeah, it is what it is.
How much is this team just getting back to having fun playing basketball? I think the player interactions have been obvious here recently, like when Ty dies on the floor, the bench going wild, or Coleman and Terrence have really been dapping each other up a lot. Have you seen that? And
yeah, it's about us. It's about us. It's simple. The game we overcomplicate sometimes. We all can wallow in our pity if we're not playing well, or this or that, or you're not winning. It's a long season. With 9 new guys, we knew there was going to be ups and downs. It's about, playing for us, playing for the guy to your right, the guy to your left, and playing to win. And we write on the board every game: play hard, have fun. Play hard, have fun. It goes on the board every single game before they go out to the court. And playing hard is part of having fun. When you play hard, you have fun. When you don't, that's when all the other stuff happens. And when you get consumed with playing hard, the ball has energy, the ball finds the net, you're diving on the floor for loose balls. I mean, that was fun to watch. Our guys thoroughly enjoyed, and then we showed them the next day in film. All the guys diving on the floor for loose balls. That's fun. That's fun. And that's what this team's got to be about, and what we're about here at University of Illinois in our men's basketball program.
What's been some of the biggest differences for Ty as he's seemed to kind of turn the corner over the last couple of years with extended minutes?
Yeah, I think he's settling into a role. He knows where his minutes are going to come. He knows where they're going to be, what positions, more than likely. I still love Ty's versatility because he can play on the ball a lot. But again, he's more versatile on the defensive side, and I talk about his versatility on the offensive side. He's more versatile on the defensive side because of that size and strength and that length. And then we become a really good running team with him in the game because of his ability to push.
But it looked like Tim was working with Sincere on some of those entry passes. I guess when you just have two younger, kind of primary on-ball guards in this season, how is that? Do you do anything different than you would have in the past with like a veteran Trent or Io, just in terms of the day-to-day
Oh,
development?
sure. Their day-to-day growth is, I mean, those guys have spent a tremendous amount of time this morning with Frage, just, you know, in film breakdown, and then it's, you know, it's on the court stuff, and it's different looks and different reads, and here's, you know, those guys might see something for the first time. You know, Io, Trent, Andres Feliz, I mean, those dudes have been seen it all, you know, towards the end, and you know, we forget that they were freshmen and had to learn the same thing. So yeah, it's much different. It's a much different approach and maybe more learning intense than it is as a veteran.
Coach, with the understanding that you can't talk about individuals, but it seems like roster construction is a 365-day a year thing now. Is that any kind of, is it a distraction? Is it a pain? Is it just a process?
Part of the job. It's part of the job today. I mean, we never had to worry about that stuff in the past. You know, it was a godsend, you know, 10 years ago when you signed 2 in the fall and you knew your roster and you were done, you know, and oh, you know, if there was somebody leave or whatever, you might be able to go get one or make a decision if you didn't want to fill it. Those days are gone. And so it's just the new world. And, you know, there's been, we started the year with scholarships open and with that in mind and knowing that could always be a possibility.
But hopefully I can articulate this in the right way. But you talked like the themes are kind of being about us, but it's also TJ has elevated his play in these last 2 games. Like, what's the intersection of being about us, but also having that kind of alpha like you've had in the past, and maybe with what he's developing into taking you where you need to go?
Well, it's been pretty strategic. I mean, he's a really, really good player, and as is Matt and you know, Coleman and you know, and Dane to a certain extent. I mean, getting those guys opportunities, and then, you know, playing off that, you know, Jaden jumps up and gets the easiest 10 to 15 I've ever seen. I mean, he just finds the ball just finds him and finds the basket, and we're not trying to burden them right now with a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, it's been a little more strategic, and you know, he's raised his game. I've been really proud of him, especially on the defensive glass and rebounding the basketball. He's been huge for us.
I know we haven't seen Zachary yet, but how has he kind of fit into things so far here? Any real update on how that's gone so far?
Zach's been phenomenal, and he's working every day. His conditioning and everybody. Zach's probably getting pretty close. You got to understand, it's not just him. It's building the confidence and the trust of the 4 other guys he's going to play with, and going out on the court and doing that. But Jeff's done a great job with him after practices, before practices, getting extra workouts in. You know, when he got here, to be very honest, I mean, his strength was to a point. Fletch couldn't just start crushing him in the weight room. It had to be a slow build. He's gaining in that area as well. You know, and it just doesn't happen overnight. Everybody thinks, oh, he shows up, he just plays. No, that's at the next level. Here it's not that easy, but he's been very diligent in his work ethic, and you know, he's gaining on this probably quicker than I thought. Below you.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I guess kind of what, Jaden, how much do you expect him to kind of acclimate this quickly? How is he able to kind of respond to a role that seemingly increased more and more as the years went on?
With Jaden?
Yes.
Yeah. Jaden's a gifted bucket maker. So those guys translate. You know, the one thing in evaluating him, his game translated because his ball goes in a lot. And you know, he does it off layups, he does it off mid-range, he's a really good catch and shoot guy. And, you know, it's not, he's just, there's a little bit of Trent in him as a freshman, you know, and just his mentality, scoring the basketball, his ability to to put it in there, to make plays for others. So, yeah, he's, as his roles and the experience of being in big games and playing in those games early, he doesn't he's a tough nut, so he's he's not afraid of the moment, and he's proven that.
TJ had talked about finding that aggressiveness a little bit more. I think he indicated maybe a conversation with you after the Northwestern game about being more aggressive. What do you recall from that? What's that like to kind of work him through that?
Well, he's a really good player. You want your best players to be in go mode, during the game, and we need him to take shots. We need him to drive. He's not a selfish player. He's almost sometimes too unselfish. He had 7 assists the other night. It's just making plays, but you got to, I had to do a better job of putting the ball in his hands in certain areas, and then the spacing of. We've gotten 2 offensively has really helped that, because it's created some driving lanes for him. So. Yeah, he's pretty much scoring at all 3 levels: off the bounce, off the drive, off the catch. He's been really good.
Matchup of 2 teams that are seems like always at the top of the league in rebounding margin. Same deal this year. What are some keys for you? If you just talk about that stat as a key to the game.
Well, it's obviously very big to us, and it's always been kind of a staple of Michigan State and Tom's teams. I think where you've got to be when they're really good, they're a team that, and I go back a few years ago, we went to try to block a shot, and they got an offensive tip in and beat us. And you got to get your guards in there. Your guards have to crack down. Your guards have to hit. It's one of the things that can be challenging, because we also know they like to run, and they're gonna challenge you that way. So, we're gonna do what we do, and we're gonna try to rebound like crazy, like we always do, and we got to play really hard to get back, and we got to get some easy baskets. And when you can get easy baskets, on the offensive glass, we got to limit them to 1 shot. Sissoko and those guys do a great job of defensive rebounding. That's an area we got to be dialed into, no doubt.
I know you mentioned on Monday, and I know it's just been a few days, but that Luke had a doctor's appointment this week. Is there any news on that front at all?
I haven't talked to our trainer yet today, so that appointment was not here in town. So we'll get updated, I'm sure, here at practice.